everyone! Welcome back to IntegralCalc.com. Today we're going to be talking about how to convert polar equations to rectangular equations. And the polar equation that we're given is r equals -5 cosine of theta. So we're going to be using a couple equations to convert this polar equation to rectangular equation. R squared equals x squared plus y squared, and x equals r cosine of theta. Because we have cosine of theta in our polar equation here, we're using this equation. If we had sine of theta, we'd use the formula y equals r sine of theta. We're not going to need that because we don't have sine of theta in our polar equation. So the first thing that we're going to do is multiply both sides of this equation by r. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want to use this formula here, and it's set equal to r squared. Our equation is equal to r, so we want to multiply both sides by r so that we get an r squared on the left-hand side. We could accomplish the same thing by squaring both sides, because if we squared both sides, we'd still get r squared and we'd be able to use this formula here. But we'd end up with cosine squared of theta on the right-hand side, and then we wouldn't be able to use this equation here, x equals r cosine of theta, because we'd end up with cosine squared, which is why instead we want to multiply both sides by r. So when we do that, we'll get r squared equals -5r cosine of theta. And now that we have that, we can, for r squared, plug in x squared plus y squared from our formula here. And we're also going to plug in x for r cosine of theta because we have that here on the right-hand side. The goal is to eliminate r and theta and instead end up with x and y. R and theta are polar in polar coordinate form. That indicates that we're dealing with a polar equation. Our polar equation here has r and theta for variables. A rectangular equation obviously has x and y for variables, so we're looking to get r and theta out and x and y in. So when we make those two substitutions, we'll end up with x squared plus y squared on the left-hand side in place of r squared. And r cosine of theta we replace with x here from this formula, so we end up with -5x on the right-hand side. We could leave it in this form and that would be acceptable, but it's a little bit cleaner to have the equation set equal to 0. So we'll add 5x to both sides and end up with x squared plus y squared plus 5x on the left set equal to 0, and that's our final answer. Everything here is in xy terms, so we have successfully converted the polar equation to the rectangular equation. So I hope that helped you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!